And I got her nose turned up.
She does look like she always smelling bad cheese.
Yeah, she
right?
do. Her face is always like, I've never heard of her like being in a relationship or anything like that.
I'm sure she's had plenty.
I'm sure.
I think she nearly had. I think her and Jamie Foxx has had a little something.
I think you're right. I was gonna say somebody from In Living Color.
Her and Jamie Foxx had a little something.
Okay, T didn't know.
So, yeah. Okay, so the incredible 999 call. 999 is 911 in the UK.
Okay, because I was wondering.
Yeah, 999 call of someone giving birth who didn't know they were pregnant. So you guys want to hear? This is basically. You know what? This is pretty common. It's so common that it's kind of become like a TV trope. A lot of shows that have used this over the years. Like as a matter of fact, I just saw this. There's what's that show? You ever heard of the show is no longer on the air? Heart of Dixie. It was like a CW show.
Yeah. I think I heard of that.
Yeah, I was watching that on Netflix, and even on there they had did an episode of this. So it's like become cliche sort of.
It happened to my cousin.
But it does. Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
It's kind of a sad story because she died in childbirth.
Oh.
Yeah, she had all these foster kids, and then one night she was not feeling
really hard
well.
to make fun of her.
Oh no! Then she was not feeling well. She went to the hospital. She was diabetic and blah blah blah. And that was the problem because she had complications. And had she known she was pregnant, she would have taken better care of herself. Right.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the tape.
There's something seriously wrong with my partner.
Tell me exactly what has happened.
She's just in a lot of pain, and it's like as if she's trying to give birth or something, but she's not pregnant.
So the pain's in the abdominal area there.
Yeah, she's actually got a large lump.
So whereabouts is the lump?
Well, it's just coming out. It's like as if she's trying to give birth or something.
Okay. Is she even pregnant?
But she isn't pregnant, no.
Okay.
Oh, no. No, she's actually giving birth. What do I do? I wasn't expecting this to be.
Oh, I can imagine. The little boy you've just had, is it?
The little boy, is it?
Well done, Gareth.
Oh my God!
I like when the baby cry.
That's hilarious because he keeps using that as an example. It's like she's giving birth,
right?
You know, as if she's giving birth. Oh no, she's actually
giving birth.
She's literally giving birth.
I love how calm the 911 operator was. Oh, it's a boy, is it? Oh, it's a boy. Nice. I know we should have those. We should have British 911 operators. I would think people would do much better. I think they would be not much better.
I don't know about that. So we talked about guns earlier, and we've been talking about school shootings because they're always in the news lately, and generally that conversation is surrounded by gun control, like what we were discussing earlier. Mm-hmm. Well, there's this one professor or doctor, I should say, who has a different take on it. Dr. Warren Farrell, PhD, and this is his take on what's contributing to school shootings. It's a very different perspective.
The biggest single problem that creates school shootings is fatherlessness, either minimal involvement with dads or no involvement with dads. That comes usually after divorce, and it also comes from the 51% of women under 30 who are raising children without father involvement. Sometimes father involvement starts, but then after 2 years of not being married, 40% of fathers drop out completely. And so that combination accounts for all of your school shooters. Adam Lanza, Stephen Paddock, the Nicholas Cruz, Rogers, Roof. They're all dad-deprived boys. We don't see this among girls. We don't see this among dad-involved boys. The solution is father involvement, where you can, and getting father involvement starts with, we can start that in school. We can start that with getting fathers involved in PTAs, changing the culture of letting men know that the most important single thing they can do in their life is not to be a warrior outside in the killing fields, but to be a father warrior. to be involved in not just the PTAs, but in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, in coaching, and giving up high-paying jobs to have more time with your children.
Wow. So what do you guys think about that? Dejan, you go first.
I like the message.
Uh-huh.
I think that if dads are not present, and they should definitely be spending more time with their children. I do think that the dynamic needs to change, and dads need to be more involved in school. But I think I've been seeing like a little like more of that lately, like dads, taking the kids to school, picking them up, going to PTA meetings and all that kind of stuff. But I do think that that's like a good conversation that needs to be had in the community. I like that he brought up all of the people that actually have done school shootings, and he gave examples. I do think like that this is a bigger problem in the African American community, like a lot. I'm pretty sure it's prevalent in other races as well, but I don't see how it translates over it to everybody in every race and into school shootings. I mean, I understand 100% of them didn't have a dad, so that's probably, you know what I'm saying, a big thing. But I just feel like it has to be something more. It has to be something deeper than them just not having a dad around than why they did these things. Because if that's the case, we would have more school shootings. Because as he said, 51% of people don't have it or weren't raised with a dad. So I don't know. I think it just has to be something more that triggers these people to shoot up a school and kill innocent people, to kill innocent children.
I think it's interesting that he has found this out, and but I don't see any causality between that. Again, I feel like it'd be more people. I didn't have a dad. I have no desire to shoot up shit. I also noticed, again, women aren't doing it. So, women without dads aren't going out and shooting up places either. So I just something else is missing in his soup that he's trying to create there. The other aspect of it, besides the male and the female aspect of it, is that these males they're talking about, many of them are white as well. Is that part of it?
They're all white.
So
right.
White without dads, that's what we're trying to say, because again, there's a lot of black men that have been removed from their family. So why aren't all these black boys going into school shooting them up? If that's the case, it just seems odd.
Well,
not that we don't need fathers. Please have fathers.
I don't.
Right. Please come to the PTA.
I'm not. That was just an excerpt. I would be interested in hearing the whole speech, or maybe if this was a book or whatever, read it. I don't necessarily think that he was trying to say that it was a direct causation. But I what I got from it was that the removed dad put with the perfect storm of these other confluences will equal, or could equal a spree killer or mass shooter or mass murder, or whatever term you want to use. I think that's what he's saying, not that necessarily, because like he just pointed out himself that 51%, and obviously 51% of people are not doing this. So I don't think he's saying that, okay, if you remove the father, this is going to happen. But I think he said, it's kind of like serial killers. People, the conversation is always, nature or nurture. Well, it's actually the perfect storm of both. It's like a person has to be born a certain type of way. And then when that particular person with that certain brain chemistry and all that kind of thing or whatever is exposed to these certain external elements at childhood and grows up in this situation, that could produce a serial killer. And not that it will produce a serial killer, but it could, and it does. It does. But for some people who go through the exact same, similar circumstances, they don't become serial killers. It's kind of the same thing here as a spree kill. I mean, that he's saying there. He's saying like, okay, this father thing is a very big component of what could cause this. That's what I believe he's come from, and I think he's onto something. I think it could be. But to address some of the things that you brought up, though, John, about it being a big thing. When you said it being a big thing, I believe you were referring to absentee fatherism.
Yes.
There have been studies. We actually talked about it on this show prior to you coming on this show. That is like a myth. the not, and again, it's not that absent black fathers don't exist, but the fact that this is this overwhelming the majority of the black population is that it's such a problem. Actually, the studies have found that the average black father is more involved in the child's life than non-black fathers. So that there's several studies out to contradict that myth.
Well, I was raised in a black neighborhood in a black community, so I'm only going by what was in my experience. And in my experience, I had a handful of friends who had their father in their household. So, I know there's a difference. I know there's a difference between having a father in your household and having a father in your life and having an absentee father.
Right, those are all different things.
Right, but I do think that there's a big difference when you have your dad coming in and out of your life. I think also that's maybe not considered an absentee father, somebody who just wasn't there altogether. But I think that's very on that end of the spectrum to absentee, to have a dad that comes and then you don't see him for months, and then he comes and then you don't see him for months, and then he comes one day and then you don't see him for months. I think that's on that end of on the absentee end of the spectrum for sure. And I'm sure that in turn makes the child feel worse. I didn't have my dad in my life. I wouldn't know if my dad was standing behind me inside the grocery store. We could have been washing our clothes next to each other at the laundromat, and I wouldn't have known who my dad was or anything about it. But I do believe that if my dad would come and promise me things and then he didn't deliver or he let me down, that would have a much more effect on me now than if I just didn't know him at all. So I don't know. I know a lot of dads. I have a lot of friends with dads who were on that end of the spectrum.
I find it interesting. I know that especially FBI and things like that, they use these things to profile, to create, and sometimes even to deter or stop a crime. You know, they try to find clues to who might be
profiling.
Yeah. And this is obviously something that's going to go in if there. This is clearly a trend that is happens over and over again. That it can't be just a coincidence. That's too much of a coincidence.
Right. 100%.
So it does play into some way.
Right.
But I was just saying, like you were saying before, I just don't think it's causality necessarily because of that. But I find it interesting.
It's definitely an ingredient in the soup pot.
Yeah. So we all pretty much agree on this all to the same whatever.
Your sinuses. Poor
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Oh my God. Have you taken anything?
I was taking a little something, and I'm actually I had a breakthrough yesterday.
Okay.
So before,
so you're better.
I'm a lot better.
Wow.
I'm breathing so much better. One day I didn't even sleep.
Wow.
I didn't sleep at all because I was just so. I only went to work 2 days.
Oh.
I was I've been jacked up.
Dang.
So, and I'm
sinuses are the worst.
And then we had a long day today, and I'm just so tired. So I can't even think straight. I feel like Jason up in this bitch. It's just fumbling all over my words. Shout out to Jason.
Jason and Mindy, hey guys.
Yeah, shout out to Stephanie and David too. I heard you guys talk about me on your last episode of the show. That's funny, Steph. I love you too. So, okay, let's go ahead and get to our KJ's
HQ.
Yeah, KJ's HQ. That thing, whatever the fuck we call it.
Poor Dino.
Okay, and this is a question that I came up with on my own. This is a would you rather, my daughter's favorite game. Would you rather your spouse have terminal cancer or they cheated on you?
Cheated.
Because I don't want my spouse to die. And if my spouse cheated on me, we can work it out depending on the situation, or we can just break up and go amicably our separate ways. But I wouldn't want my spouse to lose their life.
Well, damn, when y'all say it like that, you make it act like it wasn't even a good question.
Well,
that was so fast. Y'all was
cheated. Yeah. Well, first let's break it down like this way for me. It really is all about me in my life. I'm the central focus and point. Of
you
my
are
life.
the star of your life. You're the main character.
That's right, because I'm awesome, and so that's why I have the big ego because I'm awesome. So if my spouse got cancer, well, that would be awful for me.
Terrible.
Like all the stuff that I have to go through, and then they gonna die, and I have to go through some more stuff to the death.